Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is Friday, October 25th, 2019. I hope everyone is having a good morning here on this wonderful Friday. Most of you are getting ready for the weekend. Some of you are weekend warriors, so let's get right to it. Our solar wind speeds are elevated at 649.5 kilometers per second with a 1.9 density. Our sun is blank. This is now 22 consecutive days without sunspots. And now we have tied 2018 with 221 days without spots. So we are definitely progressing in this minimum. As of today, we still have around 66 days left in the year. So a lot of folks out there calling their predictions. I'm sticking with 277 as this, to me, I can't imagine too many days with a sunspot here in the next 66 days. Our TCI is at a 4.39, and right now the KP indice is indicating that it's at a 6, and the 24-hour max is also at a 6. And what does that mean? That means G2, Geomagnetic Storm. Now, also we have developing just almost Earth-facing in the southern part of our star is another coronal hole. That will also bring some effects, increased solar winds, possibly, just possibly, another G1 geomagnetic storm. So right now we're dealing with the G2, which has been going strong. We were only predicted to have a G1 storm. Now we're at a G2. G2 is still relatively mild. Not too much to worry about. Maybe some ham radio communication brownout, stuff like that. GPS might malfunction. Nothing major though with the G2. So again, a little bit stronger than what they predicted, but still manageable. But we are also watching this next coronal hole as it turns Earth facing. We should see something from that around the 28th and 29th of October before it affects Earth's magnetic field. But other than that, all is go as far as right now. Our space weather is definitely giving us a little bit of activity. And as always, it will have some impact on the climate. Let's get right to it here. The California fires, folks, kind of getting to be a dicey situation. Right now, we have 50,000 Southern Californians evacuated as 2 fires near Los Angeles. 10,000 structures are threatened by the tick fire burning in Santa Clarita. Meanwhile, the Kincaid fire spread rapidly in Northern California. Residents of Gyersville were ordered to evacuate as the fire jumped a highway. And PG&E said a high voltage line near the fire still had power when it started. Tens of thousands of Californians fled their homes as at least 9 wildfires chewed through a combined area of the state the size of San Francisco. The fires first broke out in Northern California and then in Southern California. The tick fire in Santa Clarita, just outside of Los Angeles, continued to expand overnight, and it jumped State Route 14. The expansion forced an additional evacuations in Sand Canyon area and closed portions of the highway. 10,000 structures are threatened by the fire, which already burned structures Thursday afternoon and triggered evacuation orders for more than 40,000 people. Residents near the blaze quickly scrambled to evacuate their homes as fire burned down the hillsides and threatened to torch subdivisions. PG&E is cutting power to more than 180,000 Californians as extreme fire risk continues. And this gives you pretty much all the stats if you guys want to check it out. We are getting this information from weather.com. Even though they're hypesters, we still have to rely on them sometimes for accurate information. But the crazy part about all this, and this is what bothers me about this whole cutting the power thing. The first week we had threats for fires, we cut off 600,000 customers with no power, okay? And we had a decent, we had a little fire that was, I shouldn't say contained, because we did lose two people's lives from that particular fire. So now we roll into this week. Winds are a little heavier. Fire threat is there. And the power is only cut off to 180,000 people. It's almost to say, well, it wouldn't have mattered anyway if we would have turned the power off or on. So I'm a little confused what PG&E is doing. It's really causing some confusion and inconveniences. And I almost wonder, too, if this is not predictive or productive, what do you call it? Predictive programming here. Getting people of California used. I mean, San Francisco, you're already used to rolling blackouts during the summer. But I'm just curious if this is a way to try to slowly ease people in as far as conserving their energy and everything like that. Again, I'm not sure if the equipment is at blame at this point, but they didn't seem to have a fear of the fire damage before this event and left power on to several 100,000 customers. Now we have 9 fires that are raging, over 40,000 evacuated, tons of damage. Thank God this is nowhere near what we had last year when Paradise, California literally just burned to the ground. And it was such horrific memories. I know some of these pictures are probably triggering that for you guys, but 2 years in a row, noticeable fires, out of control, and even the PG&E tried to take steps that would help prevent any major damage or death. We'll keep you posted. We'll be live tonight, 9 o'clock, and give you a full update on the fires, if there's any fatalities or structure damages and stuff like that. I'm sure there's plenty, as Geyersville residents are completely forced to evacuate and leave that area entirely. In fact, now we're getting word that vineyards are being threatened by this fire as well. So, yes, crop damage just about everywhere in the United States, and California gets to join that list now due to fires. Let's take a look at your national forecast here, if the radar will. All right, so there we go. Let's refresh it, guys. Let's just do that. Good morning. It's live, right? Maybe Bella will have a comment about the weather today. So this is a live look right now in the Gulf. This low pressure system is bringing drenching rain to Houston, Dallas, Waco, Alexandria, Louisiana, Lafayette, New Orleans, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. You're in the middle of a heavy rain shower right now as we speak. And parts of Alabama, Birmingham, Huntsville, also getting rain. And this storm will continue to move upwards towards the northeast. And on the backside of this, folks, yeah, look at that. We got some snow, believe it or not, in the panhandle of Texas, near Amarillo, Texas. I'm sure we'll talk about that tonight as well during the live broadcast. But we are watching this low pressure system coming up out of the Gulf. That is the most activity we're having right now. And folks, in the northeast, you're seeing the green flashing. That is not rain. I'm going to go out and make a wild guess. We've had some patchy, dense fog over the past several days. So that might be just dense fog showing up on the radar as well. Let's take a look at that pressure system right now in the Gulf. It's not even on land yet. So the rain that we're seeing in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas, the worst is yet to come, as tons of moisture will flow up from this system as we continue through the day. This system has a 70% chance of formation in the next 48 hours and 78% chance of formation in the next 5 days. But as I showed you guys on the GFS, this is going to be a fast-moving system, so this is going to be in and out quickly. And then we have this other disturbance off to the far eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean. And let's take a look. I think this is just a very weak possibility of, we're talking maybe 20%, guys, in the next 5 days. We had a couple of systems develop this late out here, and nothing happened. So let's continue to hope and pray that nothing happens with this, and our friends across the pond in Ireland and UK don't have any effects from this particular weather system. But let's take a look at the watch maps. Flooding all up and down the Mississippi through New Orleans, Mississippi, and Missouri. Flash flood advisories or flood warnings will be held for the Ohio Valley, for Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, the southern regions of those states. And out here we have a high wind warning. So the good news so far is that a lot of the red flags have been canceled, but we are dealing with high winds, and that brown area box is where the majority of these fires are right now. So even though we're not in red flag, which means our humidity levels are up, so it's not as dry, we're still going to be contending with the wind and the spread of these fires. Take a look down here at the bottom, guys. Those are freeze warnings in Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of western Texas due to have freeze tonight. So you will have a freeze warning for sure. Other than that, though, let's take a look at our minimum temperatures overnight tonight. Again, more of the same, cold across the central plains and the northern plains. The Midwest and Northeast are staying rather cool as well. The South used to be the sweet spot. Now you got to go to Florida. The rest of us are starting to feel this temperature drop, and it's only the end of October. There's your daytime highs for today. Again, the majority of the country is in the 50s and 60s. If you want warm weather, go to California or Florida. The majority of us will be in the 40s, 50s, and 60s at best. Here's a look at what we're expecting for today. Heavy rain, flash flooding possible for the south. Also some just plain old rain in the northeast with mixed precipitation in New Hampshire and Vermont, parts of Maine. Also in the northwest, Seattle looking for mixed precip, as well Montana and Idaho. As we get into Saturday, that tropical low pressure system is going to move up from the Gulf and affect the Ohio Valley. Actually, this thing's going to go all the way up the Mississippi River to the Ohio River. So we could be seeing some pretty decent flooding if the rainfall is what they say it will be. Snow and mixed precip across Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, South Dakota, parts of Nebraska as a major system is moving across the map at that point in time. And then by Sunday, that mixed precip all turns into snow. We're looking at a swath of heavy snow that will reach Denver as well. So Denver's already had one minor storm. Now look out for round number 2 by the end of this week. That low pressure system in the Gulf by Sunday is already in the northeast and is making its exit. So again, this is a fast moving storm for them to say, a 70% chance over the next 5 days. This thing won't be in the United States in 5 days. So, and I'll go ahead and show you real quick on the GFS map. As you see right here, this system moving up. Let's see if I can get the dates involved here. Here we go. That's Saturday. Here we are on Sunday, and here we are on Monday as this system rolls out into the Atlantic by Monday evening in Maine. So, and then as you see behind that, dry air, nothing going on, cold air invading the United States. Texas, Panhandle, once again, getting snow showers. I mean, I'm just making a big deal about it because that's kind of odd to have 2 different occasions of snow showers in Texas before November. Anyway. Looking at this system now, moving towards the middle part of next week. Tuesday, snow for Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and thankfully this thing takes off to Canada, stays out of the U.S. They've had their share of snow, so I shouldn't say thankfully, so sorry about that, guys. But more cold air behind this right for Halloween. The central part, the Midwest, the northern plains, you guys are going to have to bundle up the kiddos when you do your trick-or-treating. Long Johns will definitely be suggested. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be a wet trick-or-treat here for us in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. And as it gets closer to night, that rain will change to snow. Very light, though. Nothing major to expect. And by the time we get to November 1st, as we showed you in previous forecast runs, voila, dry, not a thing. Maybe some snow flurries in Minnesota, but that's it. And just for a couple of days more, we'll see some dry weather before more systems begin to develop. And winter starting to act like it's arriving in the Northeast by the first week of November. Guys, I'll give you a full report on the weather and all the up-to-date news headlines for the Grand Solar Minimum channel. I hope everyone has a great day, and we will be back live at 9 p.m., guys. We will talk soon. Take care.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.